You ever have that feeling where you're doing the exact same task on a computer, but in two different ways, and you get totally different results? It can be so frustrating, right? Especially with all these complex AI tools. Well, today, we're going to dig into exactly why that happens by looking at the two main control surfaces we use to interact with technology. I mean, you've probably felt this. You use a nice, clean website, and a task is just simple. It works. But then you try to automate that same task or use a more advanced tool, and all of a sudden it feels way more complex, maybe even a little unpredictable. It's the same system underneath it all, so why does the experience feel so different?
The answer is all about how you're controlling the system. You're using a different control surface. On one hand, you have the user interface, the UI, the buttons and menus you click, and on the other, you have the application programming interface, or API. They look and feel totally different because, well, they were built with completely opposite goals in mind. To really get this, we need to talk about two different ways of thinking about a system. There's a model designed to help you learn it, and a whole other model designed to help you operate it safely and with precision. Okay, first up, you have what's called a mental model. The best way to think about this is like training wheels on a bike. It's a simplified guide, right? It's just some scaffolding there to build your intuition and get you moving. But here's the crucial point. It is not a technically accurate blueprint of the bike. Its only job is to help you learn how to ride. And then, on the other side, you have the formal model. Now, this isn't a friendly guide. This is the official blueprint, the real deal. It's the rigorous, super detailed description that defines exactly how the system behaves. This is what you'd use for high-stakes situations where precision is everything, and there is absolutely no room for ambiguity.
So you see the split, right? We've got these mental models for learning and building intuition, and then we have formal models for precise operation and accountability. One's a helpful simplification, the other is the ground truth. Now let's see how this whole idea maps directly onto the interfaces we use every day. First up is the user interface, that familiar, graphical, point-and-click world where most of us interact with software.
A UI is intentionally designed to be your guide. Its main goals are your safety and just making things easy to use. To pull that off, it deliberately hides a ton of complexity and applies these really conservative, safe settings by default. The whole point is to give you an approachable and consistent experience without you needing to be an expert.
Okay, now let's flip the coin and look at its counterpart, the API. And as we're about to see, it is designed with a completely different philosophy. The API's job is pretty much the exact opposite of the UI's. It's designed to expose all of that hidden configuration. It allows you to be explicit, to have precise control over every single parameter and behavior. It doesn't hide the complexity, it basically hands you the keys.
And here's where it all connects. The user interface is the mental model. It's that simplified, guided experience with the training wheels on. The API, on the other hand, is the formal model. It exposes all the system's real variability, and in return, it demands explicit instructions from you. And here is probably the most common point of confusion we need to clear up. We are not talking about two different systems. The UI and the API are simply two different doors into the very same system. You can visualize it as a stack. At the foundation, you have the core system. Above that is the application logic that defines all the rules, and then right on top is the control surface layer. This is where you choose your entrance, either the UI or the API. But they both access the same logic and the same system underneath. This quote from the source material just sums it up perfectly. The UI limits variability to protect users. The API exposes variability to enable precision. It's a fundamental difference in design philosophy, right? It's all about protection versus precision.
So how does all of this affect our experience? Well, it comes down to control and how we perceive the system's reliability.
And this gets to the heart of that initial confusion. When a task feels different, it's not because one interface is broken or less reliable. It's because we're assuming they're equivalent views of the system, when in reality, they were intentionally designed not to be. So let's just summarize the trade-off. The UI prioritizes safety by hiding complexity to guide you. The API prioritizes precision by exposing that complexity to give you explicit control. Neither is inherently better. They're just the right tool for different jobs. You're either choosing safety and guidance, or you're choosing precision and control. So the next time a task feels different depending on how you do it, you'll know why. It's not a bug, it's a design choice. And that leaves us with a final question.
Now that you can see this pattern, this split between a simple guided interface and a powerful expert one, where else do you find it in the world around you?